Hello, 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 everybody. So excited to be here and so excited that Nicole got on right like like 2 seconds before we started the countdown. I She's in the wings, so give me a moment because I have a thing going on with the hair today. I didn't put any gel in. Note to self, do not go on camera without gel in your hair. Just letting y'all know. Okay, let's see. Here we go. And then we'll say hello and we'll introduce and we'll do the usual that we do. Okay, here we go. Hi.
Hi.
Oh my God, you cut off your hair.
Yes. And I have gel in my hair today, but it rained, so
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
it's
So
okay. You look great. You look
thanks.
great. I love all the drums behind you.
Oh,
We'll,
yes.
we'll talk about those in a moment. So let me say hello to people, and I'm so glad that you're here. And then we'll do our thing.
All
All right.
right.
Also, I'm gonna fix the lighting. I don't know what's up today. It's like I forgot the dog food, and the dogs were like I'm like, all right, I'll feed you. Oh wait, I forgot to get you the fresh dog food. So and Harry, he's just it's like need to eat, now. Okay. Oh my God, we got a lot of people on. So Julie, hello, and Mary Coco McCormick, hello. Carla, hello. And hi, Shelly Hart. Hi, Shelly Hart. Ellen, hello. Good to see you. Angie, good to see you. Stacy Renee, hello, hello, hello. Look at you and your new hair. Look at everybody with their new hairdo. Crystal, good to see you. Lindsay, hello. Shelly, hello. Hello. Love the glasses, Shelly. Very smart. Let me join you, Shelly, for a moment with the glasses. Let me just I love them. I just love them. Okay, there we go. All right. So I had a little sugar today, just to warn you, Nicole. Beth, hello. Irma, good to see you, my
Hi.
friend. And Mary says hello. Priscilla, good evening. And Emmy's like, I love Nicole's haircut.
Thank you.
Uh, Shanae, hey, Shanae, hey. Dina, hello. Carla, good evening. Thank you, Carla, and thank you for sharing the thing about tomorrow with me being on Laura Brandt's thing tomorrow. So thank you. Ellen, she says hello. Irma says, I love the hair.
Thank you.
Chantel, hello, Chantel, good to see you. And Michelle and Chantel. Sarah May, all the way from the UK. Hello, my friend. Hello. And look, there's a Sasquatch in the background. Okay. Ginger Perrick, Healing Heart Medium. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Kathy, good to see you. Always good to see you. And welcome, everybody. So great to have so many people on tonight and new people. So, all you TikTokers, whoop, whoop. Thank you. Thank you for following from TikTok. I'm so excited. So, I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce my friend Nicole Oberg, and she is in charge. She she's in charge of Sauk Valley and owns Sauk Valley Reiki. Now, here's the story about Nicole and I. When I lived in Illinois, when I moved from Chicago to Sterling, my ex wanted me to meet we'll just say a coworker of Nicole's, and he owned this acupuncture clinic, and blah blah blah. And Nicole comes out, and I just was drawn to her energy. I have to say, I was just drawn, and big fat Greek mouth, and I ask you all these questions, and then you're telling me that you're a Reiki master, and you do this and you do that. I'm like, oh, well, I do workshops. You should come and see. And you came to workshops, and then after you came to workshops, uh, you know, I did as I like to tell Moira, the Greek push. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, Nicole, you should really teach some stuff. Guys, once you're with me, it's that Greek shove that sometimes it's good and sometimes it's even better.
It
So
is.
so I said, oh my God, Nikki. Hi, Nikki from St. Thomas. So good to see you. So good to see you. And thank you, Ginger, for sharing. And thank you, Priscilla. This is facebook.com Sauk Valley Reiki. Thank you so much. Hello, Michelle. Good to see you. So then Nicole decided to go on the apprenticeship program that Moira and I were co-facilitating. It was a 4 weekend. It was planned to be a 4 weekend.
Yeah.
Um,
And then COVID
and then
happened.
COVID happened. It was a 3-year tour. No. So it felt like it was a long time, but COVID happened in the middle of the apprenticeship program, and we just did what we could do. And you did amazing with that. And we were going to do a retreat, and the drums behind you guys, the drums behind you, Nicole makes. She makes them, and um, we had a Nicole making session. We were going to have one
Yeah.
for our retreat that happened during COVID. It was going to be about abandonment and loss, and that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. So I've set up the stage. Here it is for Nicole. Nicole, tell people, how long have you been doing Reiki?
Oh, so I've been doing Reiki most of my life. I received Reiki when I was a kid because my parents did Reiki. So we were kind of that little weird woo woo family going around in the 80s and doing little healing things like that. So back in the 80s, it was a little different than how it is today. So it was more of like this mystery. And as when I learned it, it was called more like Reiki power. And so I didn't have as big of an understanding about what it really was like I do now. And so I learned most things by feel and by just kind of figuring out what felt good, even though I didn't necessarily know why. And so the way Reiki is taught now, it's much different than that. And so I've had it since I was a little kid. So I'm going to say like around 30 years I've been doing Reiki.
Wow.
So yeah.
And I've been in your class to I don't want to say assist, but I was just like kind of there, and because you had a whole bunch of group of people, and we're talking about, because guys, the theme for this month is about nurturing, and Reiki energy is very healing. It's very nurturing. It is universal life flow. I mean, and the wonderful thing about Reiki, for those of you that are practitioners of the holistic realm, if you are attuned to Reiki, the great thing is that Reiki, the beauty of it is it goes through you. It's not, it comes from the universe, hence universal flow. It comes from the universe through you, through your crown, into your heart and out your hands. And it is amazing. It's funny because people are like, "Oh, you're a Reiki master teacher." I'm like, "No." Like, really? I'm like, I got too much on the plate. I'm like, the wonderful thing is that once you're tuned, it always happens. Like my hands will heat up just for, I don't have to say Reiki on or Reiki off. They just, it's like, there it is. And I'm only a Reiki 2 practitioner. I just didn't feel, with the shamanic stuff and everything else, I didn't feel that I needed to. And I'm going to ask a really important question. Um, Mary says she's a fantastic teacher.
Thank you.
Hello, Trish. And Kathy says she's third generation Usui Reiki Master, now Holy Fire 3 Reiki Master. Love Reiki. Yes, that's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Hi, Terry. I was going to say, Priscilla says, funny because my hands are talking. Of course. Facebook user, hello. Tell us who you are. And Reiki, for example, my mom obviously was not trained in Reiki, but I remember that when she used to pray over me, her hands would get hot.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of, we all have this ability to help facilitate. I like to say help facilitate healing. I don't like to say heal, because we're just part of that. We're
Yeah.
facilitating it. And I think that the Reiki attunement is the part that kind of locks it in, right? Wouldn't you
Yeah.
say?
I feel like a lot of people are very sensitive to energy, and sometimes it can be scary because you don't know what to do with it, and it feels like you might be out of control. But when you get attuned to Reiki, it locks it in. It kind of allows the energy to flow how it's supposed to, and it protects you at the same time. So you know you're only accessing pure love energy, not any of the weird stuff that you might pick up when you're kind of just out and about.
Right.
So I think Reiki is a great jumping off point for a lot of people because it kind of introduces you to energy in a way that is really easy to do, and it's very palatable, and it kind of just gives you a sense of, oh, hey, I can feel this, I can do this. And I people are always surprised, we do Reiki 1 and bam, we do the attunement and they're all doing Reiki right away, within minutes. And so it's a really cool thing that people can help themselves and heal themselves. And through doing that, they heal the world around them. But Reiki just makes it kind of an easy way to plug into the energy and not not have it be so scary, like you might pick up negative things from other people or um, their ailments and those kinds of things. It's just a very positive, loving, nurturing energy that you call in when you do Reiki.
Would you say, because I think it's fascinating during COVID, and you teach Reiki, and I think the real big tester, if you will, is that people got Reiki attuned, not being in person. So really showing how energy flows through, and if the intention is there and you are grounded with the intention, and it just goes, and you've attuned people during COVID where you weren't, it was via Zoom or something, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at first I was like, "No way, we're not doing that. That's not the right way to do it. It's impossible." And then Elias comes over and gives me the little Greek push and says, "I have a friend who really needs the Reiki, but she doesn't really go out and do things with other people." And this was kind of at the height of things too. And you told me, well, she's willing to give it a try. And so I'm like, okay, well, I need a minute here to figure this out. So I don't attune people like by recording myself and then, attuning them that way. I don't choose to do it that way. I know some people do, and I don't really know if that works well for others. It doesn't work for me. So I actually like put them on FaceTime. So I have their face here and I have them on a stand. So it's as if they're standing here sitting in front of me. And then I do the attunement just as if this phone is them. And before I agreed to do that first class with that person online, I called a couple of friends who had been attuned by me and or other people, and people who I knew would tell me the truth. So like April was one of my guinea pigs and Angie was one of my guinea pigs. And I said, okay, I want to try to do this over the phone and see if you can tell me like what you're experiencing. Does it feel like an attunement, or am I just totally full of it? So, I did that with a couple different people and all of them said, yeah, I feel like I'm getting an attunement. I can feel it. And what's
And
really
speaking
interesting.
of, hi,
Ah,
everyone.
thank you, April.
Amazing. Thank you, April, for being
So,
here.
yeah, I mean, and it was neat because I felt like, I've got the phone in front of me. I'm in my room, but when I started doing the attunement, I felt like I was stepping into their room without stepping there. It was a really weird experience, but amazing. So, at that point, then I agreed and I said, "Okay, well, we'll go for it and we'll do it." And it's been successful. I don't do big classes just because I feel like I can help people in the way that they need to be helped and to teach them the things that they need. So every class I teach is pretty much tailored to who's there, what their strengths are, what they want to use the Reiki for. And we just kind of dive into it. And I have a plan, but I often, kind of put in little things here and there for the specific people I'm teaching. So I don't try to do big classes, and especially if they're online, I think that's hard. I usually only do a couple at a time there.
And that's I would have done the same thing. April, we love you back. We love you back. Here's a Shelly says my daughter-in-law is a medium and has performed Reiki on me. I love it. Awesome. Hello, Tiffany. Ginger says it helps those psychic mediums finally see their talents and own them. Yeah, I would totally agree. Terry wants to know, great question, Terry. What does an attunement do?
So an attunement it basically just connects you to the energy. So when you're receiving an attunement, you put your hands in prayer position, or what we call gasho. It's right in front of your heart center. I do some weird woo-woo stuff on you. And basically what that is I'm doing the motions and the intention, but the energy comes in to sort of reset your chakras and your energy centers, and it allows you to open up so that that Reiki energy can come through you quickly and easily. And some people have really well, everybody has really amazing experiences, but everybody's experience is different. So some people, and depending on what your gift is, so how do you know that you know? Are you somebody who sees things? Do you hear them? Do you smell things? Do you just feel them or know them? Depending on how you receive your information, you'll receive a different experience for your attunement.
And everybody has, you guys, and the reason why we're talking about nurturing with Reiki is because if you attune yourself to Reiki 1, you can before you go to bed, you can Reiki yourself. Even if you fall asleep, the Reiki is still on. You're not going to feel drained at all from Reiki. That's not that piece. Hello, April Johnson. And April Lynn says animals love Reiki. By the way, you can see them relax. So true. Reiki is life. Agreed. So some people there's a 21-day adjustment period. So think about it. 3 weeks, guys. Like when you do a diet, when you give up gluten, that's for me, people. That's not for Nicole. It's for me. When you give up gluten or chocolate cake or something like sugar, there's always an adjustment that happens. And for some people, it could be you're emotional. Some people have the physical piece where, they find themselves going to the bathroom a lot. Let's just say that was my experience for Reiki too. And some people don't feel anything, but some people can feel a shift, and it can happen physically, emotionally, and that's the barking on the truth. Barking on the truth. Willow definitely feels feels it all over the place. She's going outside is what it is. So there's so much that happens. And I would say, I don't know if you mentioned this in one of your classes, but I know that when I assisted in Reiki training way back a long time ago, when Gary was doing them, there was a time where it's nice to journal for those 21 days and just see what you're getting and what's shifting and what's going on. Hello, Gina. Oops. Hello, Rose. And hello, Gina. Robin, so happy to see you, Nicole, again. It's been a while. I know. Do you like her new haircut? So nice. So nice. And Carla says, so true. What would you say? What do you get? What do you personally get out of?
So, well, for the attunement thing that you were talking about, the 21 days, I usually tell people, because a lot of the times when people come to learn Reiki, they have a goal or some way that they want to use it or some way that they're looking to heal themselves. And so I always say it's a really good time to make that intention and set it, because that Reiki energy is coming in to heal and do all the good stuff for you and to support you with all of those goals that you have. So I always say when you're getting an attunement, let's think about this before we do it. Kind of set that intention before we start, because that energy will support you in all of those changes that you want to make. So even if it's just breaking a bad habit, or let's say you are wanting to get off the gluten, then that might be an intention to set for yourself. So I think that's a really good point and a really important part of the attunement process. And I think that Reiki, it is nurturing and it's gentle, it's powerful, but it is gentle for the most part. So when we say a 21-day cleanse or reset, it's not like you're flat on your butt,
Right.
unable to function. It's just you can feel this thing that's just changing and supporting you, and you may notice better sleep, or you don't need as much sleep. And it's small, subtle things. Usually, it's not like this horrible I'm gonna retch experience for the
Right.
most part, because of that nurturing, healing quality to Reiki. So yeah. But what do I get from Reiki? For me, it's just that self-healing piece is the best thing that I get from it. And as I do that and I work on myself, I can see it rippling out into the people that I see as Reiki clients, the people that I'm just having interactions with, friends, family, coworkers. When I see that I can calmly react to a situation that's just, you know, like a bomb exploded, it helps the people around me too. And so, for me, it's first about myself and healing myself, and then it goes outward. And I notice that in all my interactions that I take. So I'm also a public school teacher part-time, and I also do some casework in the schools around here. So I often deal with a lot of people going through a hard day, or just not having a good time, or things are just going wrong. And I feel like Reiki comes out of my voice when I speak to people. And it just kind of comes out of me whenever I'm interacting with people, especially. So it helps me to do my legit jobs better as
Right.
well. It's not just about the woo woo.
And guys have to realize that with Reiki energy, you could Reiki animals, plants, yourself. Um, Reiki too, you get into Reikiing others, and you can also do long distance
Mhm.
Reiki. And what we used to do on the retreats is, because I wanted the energy grounded, and we had several cabins, if you will, on the retreats. Nicole has done it, and in the apprenticeship program, Mike used to do it. And we'd go around and we would Reiki the room, Reiki the four directions of the room. And then we would go to the cabins and Reiki outside the cabins. So that way, the intention is there, the energy is set. People's energy that were there prior to us, it's kind of like gently washed away. And then we kind of, send an intention there. So Reiki can be done so great, guys. And here's a cool thing. Funny story. Um, I remember I was with a client, and I know Nicole knows this story. I remember that I was with a client, and I wanted to do, I totally spaced out on one of the Reiki symbols that you put over them. Like, oh crap, oh crap. How can I end this? I don't know how to end this. And of course, back then I was a super perfectionist. It had to be like
Follow all
done
the
just right.
rules.
And I'm like, eh, oh God, oh God. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, please guide me, because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna do this. So I was focusing, and it did this. I made a big circle, and then I made one line here and one line there and a smile, and then I sent it. And after I sent it, she's like, so, and she goes, it just felt like a little tickle. I'm like, okay, glad that worked. And again, it was the intention. There was a question up here. Tammy, hello, good to see you. Priscilla says, this may be a silly question, but is being attuned to Reiki the same thing as Reiki, or is it different? And then Bobby answered, you receive attunements during your Reiki 1, 2, and master level. Each attunement is different after you complete each course.
Yeah.
Yes, and as you know, and those of you that don't know, um, it is you learn different symbols with each progression.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Emmy says, "I once reikied an entire horse arena to cleanse its negative energy."
Awesome.
I love that, Emmy. April says, "If you have a Reiki retreat, Elias, I'm in." April, guess what? And I'll just mention it now since you brought it up. Thank you. So Nicole is going to be one of the assistants. We are going to do a retreat November 4th, 5th, and 6th in Iowa. There are only 15 spots, guys. That's it. It's a beautiful place, Mechanicsville, Iowa. You've been there, and the food is vegetarian, and it's amazing. And we're going to do the retreat's going to be called Honoring Your Inner Voice. I believe it's on the event schedule on eliaspatras.com. So if you guys are interested, it's first come, first serve. So thank you, Priscilla.
Well,
Um,
and I have to say, like when I went there and I heard that it was going to be vegetarian slash vegan-ish, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. I'm a little bit, Midwestern and picky. And um, I tried foods that I'd never had before and actually brought some of that back. And so now we have quinoa sometimes with our dinners. And,
okay.
it was really actually very good. And I'm not generally somebody who's yay on the vegetarian stuff. And Jewel was with me when I was there too. And she's definitely not one of those people. And she's like, this is actually really good stuff. So the food was really good. There was a chef who kind of joins you and teaches you about the food and how they made it. And it's really cool. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place.
Well, I'm excited to have this will be your first time officially assisting on a retreat. So I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And Connie says when I had Reiki done, the energy was intense where I have injuries. Super cool. Super cool
Yeah,
because
that's interesting for me when I'm giving Reiki to someone else, and if they have a physical injury, my hands feel different when I'm above those areas versus if the energy is coming in to deal with something like anxiety or stress or a breakup or something. And oftentimes I don't know, the person doesn't tell me ahead of time that that's what's happening. And so as I practiced and learned over years, I can feel, oh yeah, this is what physical stuff feels like
right,
versus this is what emotional stuff feels like. And for me, I get the sensations in my own body. So I don't see very well. I don't see in my mind's eye. And so I've had to learn how to communicate with the energy without having that benefit. So
right.
it's made me a better teacher because it was a challenge for me. But I will be, over somebody's head and doing Reiki, and I can feel tapping on my knee, and then I go to their knee and I'm like, oh, okay, we're definitely doing something here because it feels really hot to me and it feels
Right.
almost like rocks when it's a physical thing. So it's really interesting to kind of create that relationship with the energy and learn about it and learn how to read it. We talk about the symbols, and I think they are great tools to get you started with the energy. But I almost never call in specific symbols. I just let it come in and then I recognize what energy is coming in. And then I know, oh, hey, we're working on this or that.
Right.
So
Right.
it's
So
it's
true.
interesting. Yeah.
And those of you that are practitioners, whether you're massage therapists or you deal in service, yes, you could be a teacher, you could be a baker, you could working with your hands. Reiki energy really shifts that. I have to tell you, every single one when I was doing massage, and I did it for almost 18 years, um, people always say, God, your hands are so hot. Because automatically, when I'm hovering over the body before I put my hands on the body, because when I taught and when I was being taught, we always kind of hovered over the body and then gently put our hands as they're breathing and then rock the body. Like right now, I just did it. My hands are hot again. So, so funny. So funny. Um, but it is that intention, and your senses are so fine-tuned when you're doing Reiki. And I think those of you that are empaths, it can help as well ground your energy. Um, I can't say enough of it. I really can't. And it's become a part of my life, meaning that I'm not seeking out Reiki energy, but I know that I can say a gentle word and place a hand on someone's back. And I always say in my head, if they're open, if their energy is open to Reiki, allow them to receive it if they're open. And if I find resistance, I will ask them, "Hey, I do Reiki. Are you open to receiving some?" I've never gotten a no. I think just once. And I was like, all right, hands off.
Yep.
So it's great. Shanae, I'm thinking about getting certified. Well, before you do, before you do, I'll just Priscilla hinted at it in the beginning. I'll have to tell you, let me go back. Dun, 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 dun. Keep on scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Here we go. Well, Nicole is doing a Reiki 1 class, you guys. Doing a Reiki 1 class. When are you doing that?
That is going to be on May 14th in Sterling. And like I said, I'm only going to take a few students. I have one person's who just wanted that date. So I'm like, yep, let's do it. And I'll open it up if there's a couple more people who want to join in. We're going to be meeting in Sterling and doing that. And if I have a lot of people who want to, and we'll just make another date and figure it out. So that'll be May 14th at 9:30 a.m. And the classes take 5.5-ish hours. It just sort of depends on how much we get talking and what things we do to help the people who are there do and accomplish what they want to do with Reiki.
And I'm already hearing you guys. So hang on. I'm going to ask the question in a second. So, Sterling is about 2 hours away from Chicago, and it's about an hour away from Quad Cities. But Nicole, here's the question, everybody: are you open to doing one online for people?
Yes, absolutely. And so that date wouldn't be for online because I'll be just taking some in-person people. So if you're interested in getting your Reiki 1 or 2 or master, then you know, you can just shoot me a message on Facebook, or I know Priscilla will post it at some point. I've got my number. You can text or call or email me, and we'll set up a different time and do an online class. Or if you want a different date with a later start time so that you can drive from Chicago, that'd be good too.
And Shanae, no worries. I know you're in Alabama, but you can do it. That's why I was asking, because you can do it online with her, and it's great. And Priscilla has this, guys. If you just email, you can text her or call or email Nicole at SAUK Valley Reiki at gmail.com and mention to her that you were on my live with her. And that's how you heard about it. Now, another thing, here comes the Greek push. She didn't know I was going to do this. Here comes the Greek push. Nicole, do you also sell the drums behind you?
I do. Let's see. It's opposite, so I have to move the opposite way. So, I have done a couple of drum classes for people to make their own drums. I have only had one drum commission, so like somebody asked me to make a drum for them. I kind of like helping lead people through the process themselves. I think when you put your own stuff into it, it makes the drum really meaningful for you. You also learn a lot of lessons, mostly in patience and perseverance, but the drum really has a lot to teach you as you go through doing it. And it is a meditative experience because you're kind of stringing it and kind of making a plan, but you kind of get into a rhythm of it, and that part is really nice and calming, and then you have to tighten it up and you're just and it's wonderful.
So, Nicole, would this kind of drum class ever happen online that you could send them their materials and you could do a drum class? Do you like this? This is right on the spot, people. And because you are such a great facilitator, you really are. You have passion, you have uh, charisma, and you have a calmness about you. And I think that's what's needed in this world is the integrity and the authenticity of the teachers, and to know that we're always learning each and every day. But that's why I do the little Greek push, because you know what? You could try it out. If it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. There are so many things, guys, that I've tried out that I'm like, okay, well, that class is canceled. Nobody showed up. And then it gets like, it goes to a different, it goes into the, not to the wayside, but it goes to the side pocket. It comes out and it transforms and shifts. So the point here is try, attempt to do these. Always, when you say yes to yourself, the universe will say yes back. So I think that might be an interesting, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how you would do it, Nicole, because I know that you dry the skin and everything else.
Yeah, it would take some preparation, because you have to soak the skin, for at least overnight, and it depends on which kind of skin you pick. If you have a more thin skin like the deer or the elk, then it doesn't have to soak as much. But if you're going to do a moose, then you're really going to soak it. Otherwise, you're going to be very sad when you try to punch holes through that and you're trying to tighten it. So, to do that remotely, the person would have to do, I'd probably do some ritual on the skins before I sent it to them, and then they would need to prepare, the couple days before.
I
So
think it's a great thing that you could figure out, and you're so good and organized like that.
I am organized. I like things to be how they
Oh, you do. That's why I'm like, "Yay, you could do this." Michelle says,
are.
when's the next drum making class? That would be amazing.
I don't have one currently planned, but, since I do school, I thinking over summer would be nice and easier that, for me at least, I have more free time that I can plan. Like today, I was just running crazy since 6:30 this morning. People start texting me with their issues, and then I'm at school, and so
So, do you think, how long does a drum making class take approximately?
it's a few hours. And it depends on what skins people choose.
Okay.
So if you're doing a deer, I think that's a great one to start with because it's less frustrating. It's a little bit easier to work with. But that being said, like I did one with Sam and April, and Sam chose a moose. And that is just really challenging. So that can be hard and it takes longer because you just have to keep pulling on it and keep tightening it up. And the buffalo is also, depending on the skin that you get, sometimes it's very, very thick in certain areas. And you're just going, why did I pick this? Why did I pick this?
So
So,
let's talk about that, because I'm not guaranteeing people it'll be on the next retreat, but it could be. I know that I'm gonna fly in to Iowa, and I probably wouldn't. I know when I have to fly out, so it's something to think about. Because
yeah,
we'll talk after this,
yeah.
or, later on. Does anybody have any questions for Nicole about Reiki, or again, the purpose of this was to introduce you guys to Reiki, and also, or give you an understanding of how Reiki can be done nowadays, and the nurturing quality. I mean, it truly is. It's like a hug in a box, is what it is. Does anybody have any questions?
So I have a story about that.
Yes,
I
please.
had a medical doctor who was visiting from Chicago and just subbing in the area, and she called just to make an appointment because she'd never done it before, and she had time since she was just staying in this empty apartment with nothing to do for the weekend. And so she came in and she's like, I don't know what to expect, but I'm a doctor, so I don't know. And we just did it, and she didn't have much to say about what she wanted beforehand. I think she just wanted to experience it. And I close up the session, and I say, okay, well, when you're ready, you can open up your eyes and slowly sit up. And she opens her eyes. She goes, wow, that was just like pure love coming at me the whole time. And I'm like, wow, very astute, medical doctor, totally getting into what that feels like. And so it's neat, even when people aren't necessarily like tuned in as far as they know. They don't think that they're intuitive, they don't think that they're empathic, but people can really feel it, and they can feel that loving, nurturing energy coming at them.
I love that. Thanks, April. And guys, you have to realize we're on StreamYard, so sometimes we miss your comments. So please know it's not intentional. April says, someone asked, what Reiki do you teach?
So I teach the kind of traditional, it's Usui Reiki Ryoho. And my teacher was William Rand from the International Center for Reiki. He now does Holy Fire Reiki, which I didn't feel called to do. I've had sessions with people who do Holy Fire, and it feels great and wonderful. For me, the way of giving the ignitions through Holy Fire, it didn't feel as comfortable to me, because I tend to be one of those people who likes the rules and the steps, and that one you are led through a meditation. And I was trying to imagine what it would be like for me, and I'd be sitting in the meditation and my brain would be going, I think it's over. I'm not sure if it's over. Is it over? I'll just wait for somebody else to get up. Did somebody get up? I think they got up. Maybe I'll wait a little longer. Okay. And I was like, it's not for me. It wasn't. I was like, I need all the steps and all of the exact things. And so I do the traditional way where I'm kind of like doing some steps over the person and in their head. So I do that, and I usually try to start with the basics of Reiki, and I give you ideas of how to start an approach if you don't know what to do, with the understanding that, of course, once we get this, you're supposed to just make it your own and break the rules and do different things and ask yourself what feels good, and how do I want to do this, or what does my gut say, and kind of go from there. So I give you ways to just grab onto it if you feel uncomfortable or you feel like inexperienced or you don't know what to do. I have, steps. Okay, try this, do this, start here, close this way, with the understanding that you don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is come in with intention, and it's going to do what it needs to do. But that's hard for people when you're first starting. And so people like to have steps and ideas of what to do. So I usually start that way. And then we kind of go through ideas, and we practice together, and we ask questions, and we explore just a little bit and try to break some of those rules. And then I'm always available to people after the classes to text me or call me or get together to kind of nerd out about the cool stuff that they're doing. And, sometimes you just can't talk to everybody about this because they look like you should be locked up in a padded room for a while. And so I love talking about it with people. And I love when people come back and share what they're experiencing and the questions that they're having. And I'm just always so impressed with people because they get it, and they do great and amazing things. So that's how I teach.
I love it. I love it. Julie says, ooh.
I'm like, is that me?
No, that's me. And I'm going to, I forgot to put the do not disturb sign on for the phone and the computer. So there we go. Julie says, I have treatments and enjoyed. I've had treatments and enjoyed. My husband had his arm amputated. I would hold the shoulder and send warmth to help him relax. I love that. Priscilla, you're funny. So here's my question as well. Now, I know you make lotions and you make sprays, and are those Reiki infused?
Yeah, everything that I do is Reiki infused. So, like, even when I cook for my family, I feel like Reiki goes in to all of that, because it's always, for me, it's always about intent. And so, as I am creating the lotion or the salve or the sprays, I put Reiki while I'm creating it. And then, especially with the sprays, I hold each bottle for a while and I kind of just sit with it for a bit. And then I put it in a crystal grid and let it sort of marinate there. And if I know it's for a specific person or they're having a specific issue that they're trying to address, then I kind of focus on that and put that intent into that specific bottle for them. So, yeah.
And that's what I do with the sprays and salts as well. It's just, That's why I can't do it like by a batch. It
Yeah.
all has to be like, yeah.
Yep.
And those of you that remember that used to do that for the expos, that when we were in Sterling, and you remember coming over and we're like, count the drops, everybody. It was crazy. Thank you, Priscilla. So again, facebook.com, Sauk Valley Reiki, if you want to get in touch. Anything that's coming up besides the Reiki 1 class?
So I do sessions with people either in person or remote sessions. So I always do those. And you can schedule on my Facebook or my Square, but I encourage you not to because I don't always keep up with the schedule. Because most people end up texting me and scheduling that way. So I would say if you would like to schedule a session, go ahead and text to me. The way that I do remote sessions, and I know that I can do them not at the same time. I know I could do a session right now and send it to somebody remotely tomorrow at 9 o'clock, but I prefer to do them at the same time where
Right.
I talk. So if I do a remote session with somebody, we usually video chat or we talk on the phone, just kind of go through what are we wanting from your session. And then I say, okay, I'm going to start in about a minute. So just go ahead, get comfortable at home. And, then I'm going to send it. And I usually just text them afterwards what I felt, because even though I'm sending for an hour, sometimes they're going to keep getting Reiki for much longer than that. And they can just sit and be relaxed and enjoy that for 2-3 hours. Or some people will schedule it right before bed. So they kind of go and lay in bed and, just kind of go to bed with the energy flowing for that whole evening for them. So I
I
just
love it.
text them what I perceived and what I felt like the energy was doing, and then they can text me back or call later if they have questions about it. So that's how I do remote.
I love
And
it.
so we're doing that. I'm doing Reiki 1. I am trying to put together a drum class, but I have not gotten myself together. But sometime this summer, I would like to do a drum class, probably in the Sterling area. So that's what I have coming up right now.
And definitely you can do the remote
Yes.
Reiki class. Yes,
Remote
awesome.
Reiki class, and I can do any of the classes. I know that a lot of people teach 1 and 2 right together. I prefer to have a little bit of time in between, just because I feel like people get more out of 2 when they've had just a little bit of time to work with Reiki 1, kind of feel that energy and understand it. And I think then once we do the symbols and we get the different kind of energies coming in for Reiki 2, then they sort of are more familiar with, okay, this is what happened with Reiki 1. Oh, yes, now I can see this is a little bit different, and I've tweaked it. So I like to wait a little bit in between the classes.
Bobby says, when you provide remote sessions, do you bill them before or after the session?
I'm kind of open. A lot of the people I already know. And so it's like, they'll like, I'm just going to run a check over to your mailbox when, but they'll do that. Or I take Venmo and PayPal and Cash App. So, we'll just work it out beforehand. And, we just I kind of don't worry about it. I figure if you're not going to pay afterwards, then, well, that's karma, right? You needed it for some reason.
Angie says, I did my Reiki 1, 2 a number of times. I love sharing of energy. I did Reiki 3 twice. I felt both times the energy was taking me off balance. I would like to do it again and see now at this time in my life if I could get the full effect of a class. That's excellent, Angie. Well,
Yeah.
connect with Nicole and let us know. Um, so I'm just going to remind everybody real quickly. If you have any last minute questions, please put it in the text right now. Next Wednesday, we have my friend Laura Stasanis. And Laura is a registered pharmacist. She's been in the Amazon jungle. She's studied with many different people. And she has created an oracle deck card, and or cards, I should say. And we're going to talk about nurturing your creativity. So that is super cool. I love Laura to pieces. I've known her since '98. Um, Carla says, "Your soul sparkles, Nicole." I love that. I love that. And that's what's happening next Wednesday. Now, just to give you a little quick piece of what's going on. Um, Tomorrow I'm going to be on Laura Brandt's Facebook. I'm going to be a guest, so that's fun for me. And that is Laura's Connections. I put a flyer on my Facebook page so you guys can see it. On Friday the 22nd, if you guys took the Introduction to Medium 1 class and Medium 2 class, Susan Fuller and I are doing the Mediumship 3 class on Friday, April 22nd. On the 24th, if you're part of, Priscilla's going to be typing away now. On the 24th, if you are part of the Inner Collective, I'm going to do Messages from Above. Now, if you're not part of the Inner Collective, join for $11. And here's a cool thing. On TikTok, guys, on Friday, come join me on TikTok. We're going to talk about the differences of an intuitive, a psychic, and an empath. So we're going to talk about those, and that's this Friday at 2 o'clock. Gosh, blah, 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 blah. 2 o'clock Pacific. No, or is it 3 o'clock? Hang on. Hold that. Hold that thought, please. Please hold, callers. I have to look at my calendar because usually I have the calendar right there, but I didn't put it on there. Yes, 2 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. That's a TikTok event, guys. Please help support me on TikTok. I would love that. And then I told you about the 27th. And then, guys, on the 28th, I'll be gone. I'm going to try and do a live a couple times at the Pink Sands Resort. So we're doing that Mind, Body, Spirit retreat, myself, Beth Eiglarsh, and Casey Labrizzi. I forgot her last name, but now I remembered. We're doing that retreat at Pink Sands Resort. So going to the Bahamas. I'm a little nervous about that because this skin has not seen sun in a long time. Yes, I am olive complected, but let me just tell you, Casper has been living on my legs for quite some time. So that will be interesting. And then thank you, Priscilla. And then at the May 6th and 7th, I'm doing a Grow Your Psychic Senses classes, and the information's there. We have a couple questions. And I hope, guys, that you think about the retreat in November. I'm really excited about it. Terry says,
I want to add that when
yes,
you go into the Inner Collective or you go to Elias's classes, I just have been so blessed to have you as a mentor for me so many times, and a colleague, and how you approach everything with love. And you tell people the truth, but you don't say it in a way that's like bam. You really do it out of love and trying to help people grow and move forward. And so I just can't recommend you enough.
thank you. Well, oops, wrong way. These two taught me really well. They taught me really, really well. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for that. Terry says, Elias, when you say to pound your chest and say, ha, to align our chakras, is that something you should do before a Reiki session? It couldn't hurt. I mean, it's totally up to you if you want to Celine Dion it. I mean, it's totally up to you. What do you think?
So I think it depends. So sometimes I ask people, sometimes I have people who are not really into the weird stuff. And so you have to kind of tone it down a little bit. But there's some people who are just willing to come with you on this crazy ride. And so, you feel like there's just something in there. And so I'm like clapping in front of them and I'm like, yeah, go, ha, or like, breathe it out or whatever. And so sometimes that physical movement kind of helps. And that's more of a shamanic technique. But I think that Reiki and shamanic techniques and practices and any energy work together. And so I do use that sometimes, but it's not a rule that I have every time. And it also has to be somebody who I know is going to be okay with the weird stuff, because I'm not going to do that to somebody who's already a little bit scared about Reiki and just kind of not sure what to expect. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I And I think if it feels good in the moment, then you should do it.
Totally. I would agree. I would agree. I'm just checking. Michelle says, I'm going to a drum circle that evening, but I hope to join the live beforehand. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I have to thank you so much, Nicole, for being on here. I love your energy. And guys, get ready because next year we are going to be starting to do more retreats. We'll do retreats in the Midwest. We'll do some retreats up here. And if you want me to come to you for a retreat, like you have the retreat center, and you think that you can uh, get at least 20 people for the retreat, let me know. We will work out if you have a retreat. The retreat center has to have good lodging, good food, and it has to have the ability for a fire pit. Water is preferable. If not, that's okay. And we should be able to smudge or use incense inside, and that's for smudging purposes inside. So if you have a retreat center, I will fly to you and I will bring a crew to you if you can do that. So let me know because next year, my goal is to do at least 4 retreats. And then in 2024, my goal with Gene Tyndall, we're going to do on honoring your inner god and goddess, and that will happen in Greece. And we will do an 8-day, 8, 9, or 10, we haven't figured out, in Greece. And here's the other thing. We also have a connection. Wait for it. I don't know the specifics yet, so it's just brewing. But we're also going to do a retreat in Ecuador. There is remember Dr. Stephen O'Connor? He has a connection and something that he's doing, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but there'll be something beautiful happening in Ecuador, hoping this year, which means maybe next year we do a trial of an Ecuadorian retreat. So many things brewing up, so many good things brewing up. And Nicole, can you wait afterwards for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So guys, as always, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. There's unity in community. And guys, let me tell you, if you're new to me and you joined from TikTok, please tell us that you joined from TikTok. And all the regulars that we have will open up and just give you that warm embrace over the internet, because this is about growing community. There is unity in community. From my heart to yours, and Nicole's heart to yours, thanks everybody. Have a beautiful night. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.